lies will be exposed.
Right now, not in a very good position.
You're gambling with
with
lives of millions of people. You're gambling with World War III. You're gambling with World War III.
For the American people to see what's going on. Right.
All right, everybody. Salutations. Looks like we're finally here. We did it. We crossed that Rubicon. Now, look, I can't predict the future and what's going to happen right now, but for the next 30 minutes, we're going to be going over the highlights about the breaking news that President Donald Trump has just informed the United States, as well as the rest of the world, that we have actively, U.S. air fighters have actively struck nuclear sites within Iran. Now, the fallout from this, and no pun intended, means more or less now we are active combatants joining Israel in the war against Iran. There's no other way to sugarcoat this. This isn't a military operation or some sort of surgical strike. No, this is a full-on war. And what we have warned about is that, look, Iran is not Iraq. We are going to be in a full-blown conflict, potentially. And I don't want to say that the worst is going to happen because I don't want everyone to panic or spiral out of control. I think this is right now in which all of us need to be on heightened alert and to be very well aware of our surroundings, as well as keeping an eye on current events. Now, as I said before, within 28 minutes, we will be seeing an announcement from the President of the United States. Now, I will be trying to play this. I'm trying to look for all the links possible. I have a couple of links in which I'll be able to play the president's announcement and address to the American people. But here we are. So without further ado, I'm going to try and keep this as lighthearted as possible. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Please hit the like button if you haven't done so already. And again, please, everyone, take good care of yourselves. Mastermind Hour, good to see some of our moderators. To the moderators of the Hardlands Media Chat, I am going to ask of all of you to please keep the peace. I understand that emotions will be running high for a lot of people, and all I can ask from all of my viewers and subscribers, sorry about that, all what I can ask from all my viewers and subscribers is, everyone, please, let's be calm with everything. Let's be civil about everything. I have reached out to a few other content creators to be guests on the stream. If they choose to join in, I will do everything in my power to make sure they'll be able to get in. So I sent a few links out to a couple of individuals. But first, again, 10 p.m. Eastern, the president will be addressing the American people. So first, let's play this video here.
The President of the United States will address the nation tonight from the White House, getting word on Truth Social again. The president saying, I'll be giving an address at 10 p.m. Eastern time at the White House regarding our very successful military operation in Iran. This is an historic moment for the United States of America, Israel, and the world. Iran must now agree to end this war. Thank you. Just noting that the president will be giving this address tonight at 10 p.m. The President of the United States will address the nation tonight from the White House.
So that is exactly what's going on. I do also want to add in here as well, this is a take from the president who campaigned way back in 2024 as an anti-war president, anti-interventionist. Now, look, if you're a diehard Trump supporter, you need to ask yourself, is this the guy you voted for?
These globalists want to squander all of America's strength, blood, and treasure, chasing monsters and phantoms overseas. In addition, there must also be a complete commitment to dismantling the entire globalist neocon establishment that is perpetually dragging us into endless wars, pretending to fight for freedom and democracy abroad.
We should have never got into the Middle East. We should have never got into the Middle East. Under my leadership, we will turn the page forever on those foolish, stupid days of never-ending wars.
We're rebuilding our military stronger than ever before, and we are not going to deplete it again on stupid, senseless, endless wars. World War III has never been closer than it is right now. We need to clean house of all of the warmongers and America last globalists in the deep state. I am the president who delivers peace.
I was the first president in decades who didn't start a war.
And the worst, most incompetent, most corrupt president in history is going to drag us into World War III. And this horrible, horrible president is dragging us toward World War III. We're going to be in World War III soon.
Because I think we would have been good with Iran. I don't want to do anything bad to Iran. Large sections of the Middle East. I mean, look at the death and destruction that's taken place. And none of this would have happened if I were president.
Our opponents join with warmongers and neocons to wage endless wars, these wars that never end. Together we're fighting to secure our borders, end the endless foreign wars, and defend the working people of America.
That's enough of that. That's enough of that. So let's talk about the breaking news that took place. President Trump announced Saturday the United States had bombed precisely, and again, bombed as it stands right now because the fight is on, bombed 3 Iranian nuclear sites, including the Fordo site that is located in a mountainside. We have completed our very successful attack on 3 nuclear sites in Iran, including Fordo, Natanz, and Isfahan. Trump posted on Truth Social. All planes are now outside of Iranian airspace. A payload of bombs was dropped on a primary site, Fordo. All planes are safely on their way home. Trump added, "Congratulations to our great American warriors. There's not another military in the world that could have done this. Now is the time for peace." You know, look, maybe it's my inner Southsider, but you just don't go up to somebody, kick them in the balls, slap them in the mouth, shoot their dog, rob their house, and say, "All right, I want to be friends." I mean, if that happened to any of you, I'm pretty sure all of you would take that swimmingly well. You know, just to add a little bit of humor, a little bit lightheartedness. You know, waking up this Saturday morning, it was a nice, hot, windy day here in Chicago. So taking care of my tomato plants. I had nothing to do. I had all my work done. It was one of my rare days off. And I actually had a chance to sit down and watch on Apple TV the Apprentice movie that's about Donald Trump that came out in 2024. How apropos that I was talking about it. And then, of course, watching the movie Mountainhead about 4 billionaire sociopaths and how they view the world and how they want to fix the world. If the universe has humor, it's dark humor. Continuing on, the announcement of U.S. action against Iran came 2 days after the White House said Trump would decide whether to get involved in conflict between Iran and Israel in the next 2 weeks to give a window for negotiations. Trump later said on Truth Social that he planned to give a nationwide address at 10 p.m. Eastern, which is what we are waiting for very soon. Again, just going over everything that's going down. It was not immediately clear if the U.S. had deployed specialized bunker buster bombs that experts said could penetrate the mountain where Fordo is located. Israel had struck Iranian nuclear facilities earlier this month, killing multiple top Iranian military officials in the process. The attack set off a series of retaliatory strikes from Tehran, as we have been witnessing all over social media. So much for that Donald Trump promise when he was having that infamous town hall with Caitlin Collins from CNN, in which he said he wanted people to stop dying. Well, can't stop people dying if they're vaporized by nuclear fire. But hey, what do I know, right? Trump had been adamant that Iran could not be allowed to develop a nuclear weapon and indicated Tehran would not be allowed to enrich uranium as part of any deal. But some members of his base, including Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene, MTG, you know me, and Steve Bannon, had cautioned against U.S. involvement in a foreign conflict, arguing it would not align with Trump's America's First program. How wonderful. Hey, speaking of America First, hey, let's go ahead and just switch things up here. Let's go ahead and hear this perspective, because this was also taking place here as well. I want to pull this video up.
But now he's there on the lawn. We'll see if he decides to speak with any of these reporters who are for this highly anticipated meeting. Let's listen in here for just a second. All right, as you see there, we were able to bring you those moments right here on Live Now from Fox. The president deciding once again not to take the time to speak to the press, who have been on hand all day trying to see if he'll make any comment. But now he's...
I also want to acknowledge Lisa Chat. I'm going to try and acknowledge as many people as possible. We've got about 300 plus people watching us right now on Rumble and about 200 plus people watching us on YouTube. Shout out to all the lovely people tuning in, and please be safe. If we actually put boots on the ground, it's going to be terrible. No friendly ports, no friendly ports hitting beachheads. Every city will be like an OP Phantom Fury. Sickening to do this again. We learned nothing. Back from the road again. What else can I say? If you're hitting the nail on the head, you're hitting the nail on the head. And that's why I am very concerned with the overall aftermath of what we could witness of a of a likely conflict with the United States and Iran. But there are representatives, there are people who are speaking out, but unfortunately, I think he is now too little too late on this. This is from Representative Thomas Massie, who, unfortunately, I predicted this would happen, that he would not have enough time to institute congressional war powers to stop Donald Trump. But as it stands right now, this is what he wrote. This is not constitutional, from Representative Thomas Massie, who, dare I say it, is probably the only representative in Congress that has my respect at this point. Everyone else is nothing more than a jagoff who has an APAC babysitter. And we did recently post a YouTube video from last year in which we did a breakdown of his statement to Tucker Carlson. And chances are this is going to be a full-blown war. And of course, this is Donald Trump's statement that I read earlier. But of course, Representative Thomas Massie, and to his credit, Ro Khanna, were trying everything in their power to at least try. And I said the word try to get at least some preventive measures from stopping Donald Trump from taking military actions. But if that didn't stop Bush Jr., if that didn't stop Obama, if that didn't stop Trump in his first term, or Biden, it's not going to stop Trump this time around either. We also got another super chat here as well. Let me just try and acknowledge this. Again, I'm going to try and acknowledge as many people in the chat as possible. I know we got a lot of people tuning in, so no disrespect to anybody. But let me go ahead and bring in now another person who is going to be joining in very soon. Let me make sure first to pull up this super chat here and ensure that they will be set and ready very soon. Let me make sure we get this donation up here. So first of all, this is from Jenny Tufnell, who thanks for broadcasting tonight. We are heartbroken here, Jenny T. Jenny, I wish I could take this all back, but unfortunately, I don't have that kind of power. But I think my guest has joined in. So, Keaton, are you in?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I don't think I could see you at the moment.
All right, here I am.
Here you are. All right. So, first
how's
of all,
the sound? Does it sound okay?
You're coming in here 5x5 with me, so I think it's only fair to have you in here. How you doing, Keaton? Hey, you got a beer. You know what? I've refrained from touching alcohol, but now all of a sudden I think I want to pour myself a nice glass of Japanese
Here I got my
whiskey.
whole. It's 5 o'clock somewhere, baby.
It is. So I know I spoke with you when the news dropped, and I know that you and Russell, especially hosting the Jimmy Dore show, and your colleague Misty, who also did a great job co-hosting with Jimmy the other day, were breaking down the dangers of a potential military action. So I want to give the floor to you while we're waiting for the Capitan and His Imperial Majesty, President Trump, to speak to the American people. So I want to give the floor to you, my friend.
Well, I mean, this is the shit having hit the fan. I mean, he has to be impeached. It's that simple. Yeah. He's got to be impeached.
Yes.
I mean, there's no other real serious thing to talk about right now except for that. I mean, obviously, there's got to be protests and all that. But I think, we have to organize around and impeachment. And I think Thomas Massie would be a great guy to do it. I just tweeted that out. Thomas Massie should introduce articles of impeachment, and that's like the hottest tweet I've ever written. My Twitter game is not awesome.
No, neither is mine. Neither is mine.
I'm just not great at it, but that one's doing pretty well. He's not one of these cringe libs. He's got broad support. He's got support among a good amount of Republicans, and there are a lot of people who are outside the duopoly who have a certain respect for him. And he came out immediately and said this is unconstitutional, which of course it is. There were war powers resolutions being introduced in both the House and the Senate. obviously, before any vote could be taken on those, Trump jumps the gun and does this. And then, psycho that he is, he says now is the time for peace.
Yeah.
And apparently he's fired off another Truth Social since the first one.
Oh, boy.
I don't know if you saw that one.
Let me go ahead and see if we can pull that up there, but go ahead.
Yeah, see if you can find it. The latest one
Yes.
is something about how they have to end this war now. I mean, this is just completely fucked and completely insane. If Iran now attacks United States interests, then, you know, everybody knows what that means.
Yeah, it means a
there's
full-blown
money if they
military conflict.
retaliate.
Yeah.
Obviously. And so this happens 5 months in. 5 months into taking office, war with Iran.
Yeah.
Didn't take long. He let Netanyahu drag him right into war and drag this country right into war. We essentially don't have a president now. We essentially don't have a government now. This is Israel's government. Donald Trump is working for Israel. He is doing whatever Israel wants him to do.
Mhm.
One of the guys, I forget who it was, I retweeted him earlier in response to Trump saying he was going to address the nation. The guy said, yeah, here he is, Chris Minahan. Why bother? Just have President Netanyahu address our nation directly. Exactly. Israel is running foreign policy. When it comes to foreign policy, we may as well not have a president right now. It is very, very clear that this guy is just completely owned by them for whatever reason.
Mm-hmm.
We can speculate about that. I think they have dirt on him. I think they are turning the screws on him. What that dirt is, I don't know. I will not speculate because I don't know.
Right.
But for whatever reason, this guy is being controlled by Israel. There's no question about it. And so, you know, he has to be impeached. It's that simple.
Agreed. And while we are still waiting, I believe I've been looking at C-SPAN to see if they're going to be sharing the link. I also have CBS and the BBC available for. Here we go. Trump address.
Well, you know what you should use? You should use the White House YouTube channel because that won't get you in copyright trouble.
Okay. Yes.
Because that's a government channel.
Yeah. I've actually. You know what? That's.
They're streaming it to their Rumble channel too. The White House Rumble channel just went live, I think.
The White House Rumble channel just went live. All right, fantastic. Well, I'm setting that up here.
You're not going to get in trouble if it's a White House channel.
Yeah,
if it's a government channel.
Yeah, you know what? I've been to YouTube jail so many times, man. It'll make your head spin, Keaton. I might as well write a book. So, you want to serve time behind bars in YouTube land? Exactly. Go ahead. Like, there you go. But here, let's go ahead and bring up somebody with integrity and honor, none other than everybody's favorite anti-war advocate, Tulsi Gabbard, who had the audacity to say this: the dishonest media is intentionally taking my testimony out of context. God, talk about a career going down the crapper and spreading fake news as a way to manufacture division. America has intelligence that Iran is at the point that it could produce a nuclear weapon within weeks or months if they decide to finalize the assembly. President Trump has been clear that can't happen, and I agree. Oh, so after you got smacked around. All right, fantastic, Tulsi. Thank you. Thank you for letting us know that you got smacked around.
Iran continues to seek expansion of its influence in the Middle East, despite the degradation to its proxies and defenses during the Gaza conflict. Iran has developed and maintains ballistic missiles, cruise missiles, and UAVs, including systems capable of striking U.S. targets and allies in the region. Tehran has shown a willingness to use these weapons, including during a 2020 attack on U.S. forces in Iraq and in attacks against Israel in April and October 2024. Iran's cyber operations and capabilities also present a serious threat to U.S. networks and data. The IC continues to assess that Iran is not building a nuclear weapon, and Supreme Leader Khamenei has not authorized the nuclear weapons program that he suspended in 2003. The IC continues to monitor closely if Tehran decides to reauthorize its nuclear weapons program. In the past year, we've seen an erosion of a decades-long taboo in Iran on discussing nuclear weapons in public, likely emboldening nuclear weapons advocates within Iran's decision-making apparatus. Iran's enriched uranium stockpile is at its highest levels and is unprecedented for a state without nuclear weapons. Iran will likely continue efforts to counter Israel and press for U.S. military withdrawal from the region by aiding arming, and helping to reconstitute its loose consortium of like-minded terrorists and militant actors, which it refers to as its axis of resistance. Although weakened, this collection of actors still presents a wide range of threats, including to Israel's population, U.S. forces deployed in Iraq and Syria, and to U.S. and international military and commercial shipping and transit.
Yes. So way to go, Tulsi. But that's not what you were saying before. And not to mention, you were actively being quoted a few days ago as saying, like, no, there is no WMDs in Iran. And just like very similar to when people were saying that there were no WMDs in Iraq. And while we're 9 minutes out, I do have the Rumble channel still up. I don't see them going live yet. The White House Rumble video. I don't see they're live yet, but it will be happening very soon.
Oh, maybe some other Rumble channel went live.
It could be it. It could be it. But I'll be keeping an eye on it, folks, just so that's what's happening there. But talk about a career and somebody who has lost all of her goodwill that she gained in the past 8 years. And while I have my criticism of Tulsi, all right, folks, we're in on the war. But I know, hey, Keaton, I could yammer on, but go ahead, man. Take the floor.
Well, yeah, no. I mean, well, this is why when she was being confirmed, there were a lot of people who were really pulling for her to get through and really holding their breath, hoping she was going to get through because she's going to be an anti-war voice in the cabinet. And it just always seemed crazy to us. That's why, I mean, I didn't oppose her for DNI. I said that there's no difference between Tulsi and anyone else. She is completely malleable. She has no principles whatsoever, obviously. And, you know, I've said this multiple times on our show and on Jimmy's show. You know, if you have been politically awake for the past 20 years, this is the moment you've been fearing. Yeah. This is the episode you've been dreading. War with Iran. This is what it's all been leading up to. And because of the hubris of George Bush and Rumsfeld and Cheney et al., Iraq did not fall in 6 days, 6 weeks, or 6 months, as Donald Rumsfeld now so famously and so arrogantly predicted it would. However, you know, that was not going to deter them. It was only going to slow them down. And a lot of people voted for Trump hoping, if not thinking, some people thought this, but, you know, there were others who voted for him hoping that he would be a wrench in the plan to instigate World War III. And that's obviously not the case. For whatever reason, he is completely controlled by Netanyahu. Israel clearly wanted this war. We were in negotiations with them. And Israel starts bombing. And now here we go. And now he's going to come on here and he's going to say
he's going to sell it.
Time for peace. Yeah. I mean, basically what he's going to say is we neutralized the Iranian nuclear threats. And so now is the time for peace. Iran is already saying, apparently, and not surprisingly, that they are going to retaliate. And, you know, if they retaliate against American forces or any American presence in the region, then we're off to the races. And it's just horrible. It's just horrible. This is easily the worst start to any presidency in my lifetime, without a doubt. We've had some horrible presidents: Biden, George W. Bush,
Obama.
None of them got off to this bad a start.
Yeah.
I mean, 9/11 didn't happen until September of Bush's first year. He made it 9 months. Biden, you know, Ukraine was really the beginning of the, you know, horrors of his presidency. That didn't happen until a year in. This is 6 months in. You're talking about this guy just came in here and went pedal to the metal for Israel.
Yeah.
While it was committing a genocide. And now we have turned that genocide into World War III. I shouldn't say we've turned it into anything because it's still going on.
I think at this point, like, now all bets are off. I mean, we've, you know, when I had my colleague and guest, Nick Thompson, who has his own YouTube channel and content creation, but him and I were discussing the potential fallout of military conflict should Iran and the United States engage in military action if the United States stands with Israel and joins in the bombing. But there's been talk of course, then Pakistan getting involved. And of course, Pakistan and India have conflict. You also have the United States with access of weapons of mass destruction, nuclear bombs. What happens if Israel does get nuked? How will the United States retaliate? And in turn, you also got to factor in Russia and China. We already have the military engagements in Ukraine, of course. And what happens then? You also have to factor in North and South Korea. I mean, this is now a powder keg that is ready to explode. And just so everyone knows, we've got plenty of missiles. The China and Russia have plenty of missiles pointed at our major metropolitan cities. I think my colleague Daniel, a few years ago when we were on radio, geez, what an innocent era, 2018. We were on radio, where he mentioned for one segment that there are 6 missiles pointed at Chicago. So, hey, we're going to be overcooked and done pretty soon. So, I mean, everyone, this is where you have to speak out. And to these people at the No Kings March, if you want me to take you seriously now, and this goes for everyone across the political spectrum, you need to get actively involved and call your congressman and woman right now. We need Congress to step up. I mean, I'm not expecting much from our elected leaders at this point, but U.S. senators and House representatives, if you ever want to prove that you have some semblance of humanity, stop Trump.
Well, we need to prove that this is, I mean,
also the American people need to prove that we don't go along with this. Okay, so if you're on the right or on the left, let's put aside our differences, a timeout, and actually say, hey, we don't want this. Go ahead, Keaton.
Well, no, absolutely. I mean, we all need to make clear that this position is political poison for anybody who goes along with it, whether you're Republican, Democrat, whatever. Everybody in Congress has to understand they will be voted out unless they oppose this war. I think there are enough people in America who oppose the war to make that message stick. I mean, an overwhelming majority of the American people are against this. And so if we had the numbers, if we could vote directly on impeachment, I think you'd have a pretty good shot at getting at least a 60-40 majority at this point.
Well, you got to remember
I do, because this is, if not tonight, I mean, what you said there, what if Israel
gets nuked?
Well, at the moment, Israel could only be nuked by either China or Russia because, of course, Iran does not have nukes.
Well, Pakistan also has.
So I don't think Israel's going to get nuked in the short term. What I think could happen is Israel could launch a nuke at Iran. That's what I'm more worried about. Israel doing something insane like that? Because at that point, I mean, you talk about all bets being off. Now you say, well, maybe are they crazy enough to do that? Yeah, they're crazy enough to do anything, as they have demonstrated. They're crazy enough to do absolutely anything. And we have a president who is not making decisions based on what is best for America and the world. Our president is being totally controlled by Israel. So yes, all bets are indeed off. There's no question about that. What we have to make very, very clear is that anybody who goes along with this will lose their seat. That's the only thing you can do in this moment, as well as obviously protest.
There's a couple things to factor in. What I mean by, let's say, if China and Russia were to do that, but I meant to factor in Pakistan that does have an alliance or at least trade relations and at least a good standing with Iran, which could potentially retaliate. I mean, there's that potential there as well because they have nuclear capabilities. But there is my concern with the impeachment, as much as I might see it as a tactic, the only way that could be done is if every single American is absolutely vocal and knocks on the door, breaks down the door of their elected representative. Because in order for impeachment, as you know, as everyone should know, Congress has to approve of it, and then the Senate is the jury that has to do it. But
no, you need an overwhelming majority of senators to vote for it. But
it has to go through the House first, and then the Senate is the jury to decide if Trump can be impeached. If Trump can then be removed from office. The issue, though, is that, quoting Thomas Massey here, everyone has an AIPAC babysitter, and I don't see this Republican Congress going against the narrative. As much as I want, unless Americans are just straight up vocal, and it doesn't matter what the lobby group says. But I mean, Do we have a Congress? I'm reminded of that quote from The Patriot. Why trade one tyrant 3,000 miles away when and have 3,000 tyrants 1 mile away? And I don't see these representatives doing the right thing. The only few I actually see doing anything right now is Thomas Massie, and this is the social responsibility of every single American. We have our population is what, 350 million? 2/3 of this population needs to get on their phones, needs to start texting, emailing their representative day in, day out. Within this entire hour before Sunday, millions upon millions, hundreds of millions of emails should be reaching these senators and House representatives accounts to say, hey, we don't want a war, and we have to be vocal. This is an urgent call for this, because once these nukes drop, we're not going to have this level of technology again, folks. And it's already 9:01 p.m. and I don't see anything happening with the live stream. I'm going to refresh the page, but I see nothing from the president.
Yeah, so you need, just so everybody knows, you need a 2/3 majority. You need a simple majority in the House to get the impeachment to the Senate, and then you need in the Senate, this is where it gets very, very difficult, obviously. Yeah. You need 2/3 majority in the Senate to vote to convict. Now, we might say, well, that's impossible, because how are you going to get, assuming every Democrat votes yes, which is not necessarily a given, because Democrats have their AIPAC handlers too. But assuming every Democrat votes yes, you need 20 Republicans to vote yes as well. And I know that seems like a heavy lift. That seems silly. It seems unserious, but
Keen, I don't mean to cut you off, but it's happening right now. Yeah, it's happening right now. So let's go ahead and address it. The president of these United States. Let's get ready for this. Hold on. Oops, I'm sorry about that there, folks. Let's do this. Here we go.
Precision strikes on the 3 key nuclear facilities in the Iranian regime: Fordow, Natanz, and Esfahan. Everybody heard those names for years as they built this horribly destructive enterprise. Our objective was the destruction of Iran's nuclear enrichment capacity and a stop to the nuclear threat posed by the world's #1 state sponsor of terror. Tonight, I can report to the world that the strikes were a spectacular military success. Iran's 3 nuclear enrichment facilities have been completely and totally obliterated. Iran, the bully of the Middle East, must now make peace.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
If they do not, future attacks will be far greater and a lot easier. For 40 years, Iran has been saying death to America, death to Israel. They have been killing our people, blowing off their arms, blowing off their legs with roadside bombs. That was their specialty. We lost over 1,000 people, and hundreds of thousands throughout the Middle East and around the world have died as a direct result of their hate. In particular, so many were killed by their general, Qasem Soleimani. I decided a long time ago that I would not let this happen. It will not continue. I want to thank and congratulate Prime Minister Bibi Netanyahu. We worked as a team like perhaps no team has ever worked before. And we've gone a long way to erasing this horrible threat to Israel. I want to thank the Israeli military for the wonderful job they've done.
Unbelievable.
Most importantly, I want to congratulate the great American patriots who flew those magnificent machines tonight, and all of the United States military on an operation the likes of which the world has not seen in many, many decades. Hopefully, we will no longer need their services in this capacity. I hope that's so. I also want to congratulate the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, General Dan Raisin-Kane, spectacular general, and all of the brilliant military minds involved in this attack. With all of that being said, this cannot continue. There will be either peace or there will be tragedy for Iran far greater than we have witnessed over the last 8 days. Remember, there are many targets left. Tonight's was the most difficult of them all, by far, and perhaps the most lethal. But if peace does not come quickly, we will go after those other targets with precision, speed, and skill.
Most of them can be taken out in a matter of minutes. There's no military in the world that could have done what we did tonight, not even close. There has never been a military that could do what took place just a little while ago. Tomorrow, General Kane, Secretary of Defense, Pete Hegseth will have a press conference at 8 a.m. at the Pentagon. And I want to just thank everybody, and in
This
particular,
is it? Are we at war?
God. I want to just say we love you, God, and we love our great military.
God.
Protect them. God bless the Middle East. God bless Israel, and God bless America. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Wow.
That's it. That's
What a
it.
Piece of shit.
That
God
is
bless
that is
Israel
it.
and God bless America.
That's
Well,
it.
there's America first for you. Suckers. What a bunch of suckers and losers this fucking country
Oh,
is.
fucking hell, man. That's it. Thank you for joining. That was it.
That was it.
How long? That was it.
It was a minute and a half. He could have posted that on fucking TikTok.
Yeah,
Could've given
wasted
himself
everyone's
some fake
time. What
fucking
the fuck
duck
was that
lips
shit?
and an eyeliner and posted it on TikTok.
So that was actually that was no more than like at least 5 minutes. Actually,
No, it was 5 minutes. It's not nothing. What was that? Was that 3 minutes? It was nothing.
That was it. That was it. That's that. Look, to the entire MAGA base, if this is what you wanted, if this is what you voted for, so
no,
be it.
they're a fucking embarrassment.
Yeah.
What a fucking embarrassment. MAGA. Yeah.
Holy fuck.
Yeah.
All right. I don't know how else we can wrap that up, but if you think that that's going to be a de-escalation of any military engagement here, people, no. And if you think Iran is not going to strike back against Israel or now at U.S. military bases or U.S. embassies, you are gravely mistaken. We already know that Lebanon is a hotbed with military conflict with Israel right now. We already know that Syria is politically unstable. We already know that there's problems with Yemen. So now add Iran to the mix, and this is now opening to be a full-blown conflict. And, you know, there is a chance that, yes, possibly a tactical nuke can be used. But I want to let everyone know that a tactical nuke is far more destructive than the ones that were dropped over Hiroshima and Nagasaki. And, you know, I was having a nice day off today, a simple day off today. And if I knew that my post, because, you know, I was posting all over social media, but this is something that I posted. And this was in the Minato ward in Tokyo, which is like the international district. So in 25 years ago, I took this photo because it really stood out. A photo from 2020 when Kit, that's me, of Hardlands Media visited Japan. This is a sign from the Minato ward, Tokyo, for Declaration of Peace. With the world on edge for destruction, let us see and hear these words so we can have a better future. And I posted this at 4:46 p.m. Oh, Kit, you have terrible timing. All people are one in wishing to preserve the beauty. Let me actually pull this up here so people can see it. All people are one in wishing to preserve the beauty of the earth and the permanence of world peace. These sentiments will never change. We are working to build a community dedicated to the welfare of its citizens while striving for true peace and preservation of our cultural traditions. Our duty to the generations that will follow is to hand over into their keeping a society built on brotherhood of all and a natural environment that is flourishing and beautiful. We request our government to abide firmly by 3 non-nuclear principles, renouncing possession, production, and introduction of nuclear weapons, and appealing to all citizens everywhere to seek the abolition of nuclear weapons, as it is our earnest wish for world peace, and that peace is taken out right there. Minato Ward, a city of peace. So there's some aspects missing from there, but I have terrible timing, Keaton. I have terrible timing of when I have to post something up here. I also want to pull up this here because I know you got a little bit of time, but let's just hear the wise words of Putin. I'm sad and somebody else here. This was a few months ago in regards to World War III.
Беспокоит. Говорю без всякой иронии, без шуток. Конечно, очень много конфликтного потенциала, он растет. Ну и у нас под носом, нас это касается напрямую. Конфликт, который мы переживаем на Украине, на этом направлении. То, что происходит на Ближнем Востоке. И, конечно, нас очень беспокоит то, что происходит вокруг.
So in this video, he's discussing about how there's concern of potential military strikes on Iran's nuclear facilities, the conflict in Ukraine, and how everything can intensify to a full-blown conflict for World War III with no jokes aside. So, Keaton, your words, my friend, because I'm pretty sure you're going to have a lot to talk about on your Sunday show.
Yeah, we are live tomorrow. That is going to be a hell of a show, depending on what happens between now and then. You know, don't forget, we've got almost 24 full hours to go before we get there. So some people in the chat saying Kirk is back on Trump. Yeah, no, Charlie Kirk, Jack Posobiec, these guys, they're brand ambassadors. They're influencers. That's all they are. That's all they are. Their bread is buttered with MAGA. And this is why it's so important for everybody to just come out as strongly as they can against this, because you really have to now sink the sort of influencer industrial complex that exists within MAGA. You just have to delegitimize that whole social media ecosystem, and we just have to really just embarrass these people. That is a fight very much worth waging. And also, yes, we have to get out and protest this. And yes, as I was saying before President Netanyahu came on there, it takes 67 votes in the Senate to impeach. Everybody has to make it as clear as possible that if you do not vote to impeach Donald Trump, you will not get reelected. It's going to take that heavy a lift. And I know people hear that and they say, well, that can't happen. Well, public support for this is very, very low. Very, very low. Last poll I saw was 16 points. 16 points. It's extremely low. And so there are enough people out there, if they make this the priority, that they better, because Iran is a country of 90 million people. When Iraq was invaded, pardon me, it was a country of 24 million. So you're talking about a country that's almost 4 times the size of Iraq, which was a very, very long and drawn out and horrible war, with consequences and implications far bigger and broader than anybody expected. And this is going to be even worse. Much, much, much worse. Much worse.
Unfortunately, I don't want to ruin the mood of everyone here in the audience, but there's also another statement from another world leader. We had Putin, we had Trump, but also we have Netanyahu.
Congratulations, President Trump. Your bold decision to target Iran's nuclear facilities with the awesome and righteous might of the United States will change history. In Operation Rising Lion, Israel has done truly amazing things. But in tonight's action against Iran's nuclear facilities, America has been truly unsurpassed. It has done what no other country on earth could do.
Start World War III.
History will record that President Trump acted to deny the world's most dangerous regime the world's most dangerous weapons. His leadership today has created a pivot of history that can help lead the Middle East and beyond to a future of prosperity and peace. President Trump and I often say, peace and strength. First comes strength, then comes peace. Tonight, President Trump and the United States acted with a lot of strength.
Oh, boy.
President Trump, I thank you. People of Israel, thank you. The forces of civilization, thank you. God bless America. God bless Israel. And may God bless our unshakable alliance, our unbreakable faith.
All right. Well, Keaton, how do you feel?
Well, that is nothing unpredictable there. I mean, what can you say? It's just incredible. 6 months. That's all it took. 6 months.
6 months
for Israel to drag us into war.
Yeah.
Really, really incredible. I mean, I don't really have much else to say beyond that. Beyond what I've already said.
And I think we're going to be talking more about this. I will probably have to set up a Sunday brunch that will not be a lot of fun to sit through, but a Sunday live stream just to cover some additional updates and information. Because again, as Keen pointed out, there's going to be a lot happening between now and tomorrow. And even when your show goes live too, your show is going to be live at what I believe 6 p.m. Eastern. Am I correct?
6 p.m. Central, so
6
yeah,
p.m.
7
Central.
Eastern.
Yeah, so 7 Eastern. So everyone, I'm pretty sure a lot of my colleagues in independent media are also going to be going live, including RPN, INN.
Oh, they're live right now. RBN's
yeah.
live now.
Yeah, so everyone's going to be talking about this. So I have a couple more videos, but I think you got to get yourself set up pretty soon here too. I don't want to leave or anything like that, but I have another video in which Senator Tom Cotton is talking about Americans potentially being targeting or our troops being targeted, but I want to give the floor to you for any other final statements you'd like to make. I do appreciate your time joining us here today.
Oh yeah, no, thanks for the invite, man. Good to be on with you. Yeah, no, I mean, pretty much I would just close by repeating what I've said. People have to demand he be impeached and removed. There were war powers resolutions that were being brought to a vote. He did this unilaterally. He did this without Congress's inputs. That is an unconstitutional act, as Thomas Massey said. I think he should be the one to bring the impeachment charges. I think if it comes from a Republican, that'll mean a lot more. And so I hope he does that. I can't say there's a better than 50-50 chance he will. I think there's a very slim chance that he will, but I think people have to really stand up and be heard about this now.
Right.
And you know, this is really a stress test for the system.
Yeah.
Because you really have to organize. Like, I really do believe if there is a silver lining, if there is a ray of hope, it's that people are overwhelmingly not on board for this. Such a massive part of Trump's coalition was an anti-war coalition of people who were against these kinds of interventions. Now, the question is, did they prioritize these views in the same way that they prioritize the border and inflation and stuff like that? Probably not. But we would hear all the time from Trump's base about how they liked how he was not likely to entangle us in any new wars.
Right.
And this is the most dangerous one he could have entangled us in. And now here we are. And so given the overwhelming opposition to this, I think there are possibilities within the political system for a change to, yes, impeach and remove from office. I mean, that's what it has to be.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of that tactic. I'm not because I think after covering it for 4 years, how the Democrats fumbled the ball on that, it's going to have to be done, and the only way it has to be 100 million strong. This is the social responsibility of every single American, because we have to show the world. That's every single American. I don't care what generation you're part of, the color of your skin, who you worship, what state you live in, how you vote. 100 million Americans need to be screaming out. No less than that. 100 million Americans need to be screaming out right now. We don't want this. We need to show the world we don't want this, and we need to put the pressure on these politicians. And I don't want to hear no bull about some no King's March that's going to happen on July 4th. I want to see people out there, okay? I want to see people out there in the streets. I don't want to hear this BS of, oh, look at Chicago strong, 75,000. I don't give a damn if 75,000 people showed up. Where were all of you 4 years ago, and where the hell is everybody right goddamn now? Everybody, I don't care if you don't have a Walmart heiress helping us out. It doesn't matter. We all need to be out there in the streets, okay? It doesn't matter who's going to be funding or promoting it. It matters in yourself if you want that big wall of fire coming your way. I have seen the Hiroshima Memorial Museum, okay? And I'm going to once again state this, and I'm debating now whether I should actually make it public now, because now I'm thinking, like, I don't care about the consequence, because we might as well be vaporized anyways. When you go inside that museum, you will walk out a changed person. All right. And the bombs that were dropped on Hiroshima and Nagasaki are nothing in comparison to the weapons we have now. We have this one world we live in. And once those bombs are dropped, the survivors will envy the dead, to quote Dr. Strangelove. Okay. No one's going to want to live in an irradiated world. And I dread to see how humanity will look like, or what we will look like in the aftermath of this horrifying destruction, in which we will never recover from. What we have here, we won't get back to it. There won't be fun Mad Max adventures. It'll be like the movie Threads. You want to see a real horror movie? You want to see what a nuclear bomb will do? See the movie Threads. That's the realest movie I've ever seen in regards to the damage and destruction of what these weapons can do to our society, us as a people, and overall our legacy on this planet. We're better than this. And if you are a Trump supporter, hey, I call you ally if you stand against us.
Yep.
Yeah.
Falls to everybody.
So look, everybody, check out Do Dissidence, follow them, support them online. They're doing a lot of great work. You guys have been killing it on the Jimmy Dore show. So shout out to you and Russell. Shout out to Misty as well. And shout out to everybody else that's been tuning in. I think I'll play some of this other stuff for maybe Sunday's show. I wasn't going to do one. I was going to actually have a day off, but sometimes you don't get what you want. But I got music by Jesse Jet, and I think this song is very apropos to what we'll be facing off against. So, Keaton, thank you so much for your time. Dust the better days. And everybody else that's tuning in, take good care of yourselves and each other. I'm still trying to figure out how to close the chat out, but let me just figure this thing out here. First of all, we did get a couple of donations here real quick. F and Hoos tipped. My MAGA army buddy tells me that Trump is bombing Iran is a good thing for the Iranian people. Yeah. The last time we did a coup, that went swimmingly well in the 1950s with the Shah. They actually had a democracy. We got rid of it for them. Wasn't that great of us? Yeah. What else we got here? Hold on. With Palantir, we will all have public-private partnership war. Yay, capitalism. Yay, we did it. We crossed that Rubicon. User for me says they were way off on the apocalypse. Turns out the four horsemen were AI, social media, treason, and madness. Not wrong there. And idiocracy is looking pretty good about now. I could use a nice cold glass of Brando. Well, you're not going to get Brando in this atomic wasteland. Sorry, folks. You will have no bananas and you will have no Brando. So that's what's going to happen to you. I also saw that we got a super chat from Luis Brooks. Thank you so much. I should not be surprised that Adelson, Money, and AIPAC were stronger than sanity. Congress didn't want to have a vote. They are all sellouts. You know what, Luis? I want you to be wrong, but sadly, that is you hit the nail on the head. So, everybody, thank you so much for joining in and being part of our show. As always, my name is Kit. This is Hard Lens Media. I think maybe Keaton, you might have to. I'm trying to figure out how to kick you. Everyone, let's see. I'm.
No, it's all right. I can leave. I see it I see it in the bottom here. I know it's in
Yeah. See, I'm still trying to figure it out there.
Yeah,
but
no
there you
worries.
go.
Thank you, and thanks everybody in the chat. We'll see you tomorrow.
Yeah, maybe we'll see you tomorrow. So there you go.
Yeah, if all goes well.
If all goes well. See you later, buddy.
Thanks, man.
All right. And then as a final note here, folks, huge shout out to all of you tuning in. I wish there was a little bit more to say or break down, but what Donald Trump has just addressed, as well as by proxy Netanyahu, I don't think this war is going to be ending or wrapping up anytime soon. If you can, please hit the like button. It really helps out the algorithm. In the description box below, if you can as well, it could really help us out. There's our Linktree. If you can, that would be very helpful. So in the description box below, we have our Linktree, Peachtree, Peacetree. Any support to that would be really great. Here, let me just go ahead and pull this up here so that way everyone has access to it. So that way it's there and available so people can see our Linktree. Here we go. We have our Linktree, YouTube, X, Rumble, Kick, Patreon, Substack, Discord, Instagram. Follow that there. If you want to support the show, please consider supporting us on Patreon. Being a patron supporter will help keep the lights on. In this day and age of media censorship, we do need the support. Here we are on X. We're very active there on X, so please consider supporting us on X. And also, we have our pinned tweet to our GoFundMe. And if you can, please help us out with our GoFundMe. We have a huge legal fight in which we have to raise up to $50,000. Here's hoping that we can get there. Who knows what's going to happen with this potential war happening, but if you can, there's a link to our GoFundMe. Follow us on all of our social medias in our Linktree. Consider supporting us on Patreon. That's how you keep the show up and running. Without all of you, we will not exist. And of course, now we have music by Jesse Jet. On a personal note here, I'm very sorry that all of this is happening. None of this should be happening. And I wish all of you a peaceful, better future. Have a safe evening. And take good care of each other. Music by Jesse Jet, folks. Take care. Be at peace. And maybe things will be okay in the end. But Trump's words, they don't inspire much. We're in this now. What comes tomorrow, we'll find out together.
day. Watch them as they walked him away. You told yourself extremists come in all different shapes. Met his eyes and lowered your gaze. Is it too late for us to ever change? We are collecting the dust of better days. They're always watching us, but we're never safe. We're not meant to be safe, not meant to escape. We aren't meant to wake. Sheriff stopped your daughter today. Pepper sprayed her twice in the face. He must have had good reason if he'd treat her that way. At least that's what they taught you to say. But is it too late for us to ever change? Once we're collecting the dust of better days, they're always watching us, but we're never safe. We're not meant to feel safe, not meant to escape. We aren't meant to wake. Feds arrived and had you detained. Said you'd made some posts they once changed. Tased you till you felt like you'd forgotten your name, or life before they had you contained. Oh, life before they had you contained. The SWAT team took your neighbor today.